Evening. This is my third video showing off a mixture of old school classics and new releases. Hopefully someone will find something interesting. Let's do this! We will start with a couple of old school classics. First up, it's Severed Survival with Autopsy. It's their debut full length from '89, released on Peaceville Records. Going back to what I stated in my last video regarding Ball Thrower, in the beginning of my death metal days I wanted it to be as fast and brutal as possible, and Autopsy was disqualified because they lacked the speed I was going for at the time. But in later years I've gone back re-listening to the old classics I dismissed in my younger days with an open mind, and like Ball Thrower, this is really good. This is 40 minutes of filthy old school death metal with disgusting lyrics. The riffing is awesome, and Chris Reifert's combination of vocals and drumming is excellent. And Chris Reifert was at the time also drumming for Death, which released Scream Bloody Gore around the same time as this came out, and the two records are quite similar, but Severed Survival is more filthy and a little slower. And my favorite tracks are probably the first two tracks, Shard Remains and Service for a Vacant Coffin, and the fifth track, Ridden with Disease. And my version of the record is a 2017 Peaceville reissue. The record comes on plain black vinyl. And the center label on this side is the album cover, and on the other side is the censored album cover. And I think I actually prefer the censored version. It's a little more subtle, but I have to admit that the original cover fits the music and lyrics perfectly. And it comes with a printed inner sleeve with lyrics, and the other side looks like this. Autopsy's sophomore release, Mental Funeral, which I don't have a physical copy of, saw them take on a little more doomy approach, and it's very good too, but I much more prefer this one. And their later releases and their comeback albums and stuff I listened to briefly, but I don't think they can compare to... They can't hold a candle to either of the first two, in my opinion. And I bought my copy at a local store, but it's widely available on a lot of distros. Here are a snippet from Severed Survival. Next up we have another old school classic. It's Strapato from the Canadian band Slaughter. This was originally released in '87 through Fringe Product and Diabolic Force. And Slaughter played an early incarnation of brutal thrash metal bordering on death metal, and was very influential for the birth of death metal. And when I first heard this record, which was probably in '97 or '98, I was more into bands like Iced Earth and Blind Guardian. And this was too brutal, and I thought the production was below par, and I dismissed it. Fast forward a couple of years, I was deep down in the rabbit hole, which is the '80s thrash scene, and found this again, liking it, and then forgot all about it. And fast forward to earlier this year, I was at the record fair and this popped up, and I remember that I thought it was good. So I bought myself a copy. And this has, Strapato has a running time of just 23 minutes, and it's very raw and heavy, great riffs, and the vocal performance is good. The guitar tone is awesome. Maybe it was from this Thomas Skogsberg got the inspiration for his productions in Sunlight Studios with Early Entombed and Dismember, because it's in the same vein. I really have no idea if that's the case or not. And my one complaint is that the drumming on the faster parts are a little bit off. And my favorite tracks are probably Incinerator and Tales of the Macabre. Anyway, this is a High Roller record reissue from 2017. It contains one bonus track, One Foot in the Grave, taken from the B-side of the 7-inch Nocturnal Hell from '86. And as always with High Roller Records, it's a quality release with thick cardboard cover, and the record is on black vinyl. And this was limited to 200 copies. And you get a high quality lyric insert on some kind of thick paper or cardboard, quality stuff. And it includes a poster of the album artwork. This one, I think you can pick this up. High Roller still has copies left, so you can order it from there. Here are some snippets. We have a release from this year. This is World's Blood by the band Wayfarer. Wayfarer was a brand new acquaintance for me a couple of months ago. I think it was Count Blagorath's description of the music that made me order the album after just listening to one of the tracks very briefly. I'll put a link into his channel in the description. If you don't know who Wayfarer is, they were formed in 2011 in Denver, Colorado. World's Blood is their third full length, and I have not had the time to dig into their two earlier full lengths at this time, but the little I heard is also very good. And Wayfarer plays a form of atmospheric old western styled folk inspired black metal, and I would say it sounds a little bit like if Panopticon would have been inspired by the old west instead of the forest and mountains and stuff. And the record starts out with I don't know the musical term what the guitar is doing, but it feels like something that would not be out of place in an old western movie soundtrack, and the drums has a galloping feel to it. And the last track of the record, A Nation of Immigrants, is an acoustic campfire-like tune and runs off the album's old western spirit very nicely. My description is not a good representation of the record as a whole, but these two things are what stands out from an original point of view. Mostly it's just very good atmospheric black metal with nice acoustic old western folk inspired parts woven in. And as I said, this was released in 2018. It was released on Profound Lore Records, and my version is black vinyl. It was also available on a limited clear vinyl and another which was black gold merge. And you get a lyric insert and credits and stuff on the other side, and also you get a poster of the album artwork. And I ordered my copy directly from Profound Lore, and they have a European office or something, but so no matter if you live in the US or in Europe, you can order it from there for a reasonable shipping fee. Here are some snippets. Moving on, we continue with some more black metal, this time from Belgium. This is the Doden Hebben Het Goch from the band Wiegedood. Apparently the band name means sudden infant death syndrome, and the album title translates to something in the vein of The Dead Are Fine. And if you're not familiar with Wiegedood, it's a band from Ghent, East Flanders, which is the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium. They were formed in 2014 and have released 3 full lengths so far. And the band consists of 3 members, 2 from black metal band Oathbreaker and 1 from sludge post-metal group Amen-Ra. They play very fast-paced, tremolo-picking black metal with blasting drums and awesome vocals, and they mix it up with slower parts, which sometimes is just heavy riffing and sometimes very nice soft acoustic parts. And I think you can compare it like a mix of maybe some early dark Funeral and Dark Space and yeah. This record was released in 2015 on Consoling Sounds, which is a Belgian label. And the record only contains 4 songs and has a running time of about 38 minutes. And all 4 songs are very good and varied. And my one complaint with this record is that the mix and production, the vocals is a little bit too far behind in the mix. But it's not I have heard worse of this. And as I said, this was released in 2015, but my version is a repress from 2018, limited to 1,000 copies. It's a gatefold with beautiful artwork, and this is their logo. And the record is on black orange splatter vinyl. And it comes with an insert with the band's logo on one side and credits on the other. Unfortunately, there are no lyrics included, but they can be found online. And the song titles are in Dutch, but the lyrics is in English. When I ordered my copy from Consoling Sounds, and it seems they still have it in stock. Here are some snippets. Next up we have Die Odin Hypnotia 2, the sophomore release of Wiegedood. This was released in 2017, also on Consoling Sounds. And as you can see, the cover artwork is very similar to the debut, and the music is also very similar. And as with the debut, it contains 4 tracks, although this one is a little bit shorter, as it clocks in at 33 minutes. And the mix and production is a little more to my liking on this one. The vocals is further front in the mix, and the production is a little bit more slick. And my favorite track on this is Smekbede, which reminds me a little bit of Dark Space. And as I said, this was originally released in 2017, but my version is a 2018 repress. It's a gatefold, like with the debut, and that has the album title on the inside. And the record is on silver grey vinyl with some dark stains. This is limited to 1,000 copies. The center label looks like this. It comes with an insert which looks exactly like on the debut. And I would say that I slightly prefer this one to the debut, mainly because of the mix and production is a little bit better, but overall they are musically they are both very good. And Consoling Sound still have this version in stock, so you can pick a copy up. And here are some snippets. Next one will be, you guessed it, Die Odin Hypnotia Part 3. This was released earlier this year, but this time on Century Media. There are no groundbreaking differences this time around either. It's 4 tracks and it clocks in at 33 minutes. And I think the mix and production is somewhere in between the other two. And the artwork and layout is in the same style as the other two also. It's a gatefold. Album title on the inside. The record is available in a couple of different colors. My version of the record is the dark green. Limited to 200 copies, and I think that this is Consoling Sounds exclusive. And it comes with the same type of insert as the other two. But this time you actually get a small poster with some, which is, yeah. To conclude Wiegedood, if you like one of the albums, I can't imagine you would like, I can't imagine you would not like the other two. Since they are so similar, they could have held on and released this as one very long record, but I prefer shorter records, so I'm happy with the way it turned out. And you can order all 3 from Consoling Sounds, which I did. So there are no snippets because I forgot to make one. Moving on. Lastly, we have this one. This is a record called Extreme Hatred by the band Hypnosia. If you never heard of Hypnosia, it's a Swedish thrash metal band from Växjö, Sweden. They were active from 95 to 2004. In 2004, the drummer Mike Sjöstrand sadly passed away, and the other members split up the band afterwards. And during their active years, they released one EP in '99 called Violent Intensity and one full-length in the year 2000, which is this one. And I think this is probably one, if not the best thrash metal albums of all time. Imagine that you take Creator's Pleasure to Kill, you add some Sepultura and turn up the intensity level to 11 and smack on a perfect sound and production, and you have Extreme Hatred. And as I said, this was released in the year 2000 on Hammerheart Records. At the time I was not into vinyl, so I bought my copy on CD in 2001. And this is a limited digipack, and it includes the Violent Intensity EP. However, Hammerheart Records reissued the vinyl in 2014, so now I have it on vinyl also. And the vinyl is plain black. You get a lyric insert. And on the other side, there's a picture of the three of the band members. I think that the bassist Lenny Blade was a guest musician, but joined the band later. And I first came in contact with the band when I saw them live at a festival in 2001. And just a couple of weeks ago, I found a live recording of this very show on YouTube. So I'll put a link in the description so you can check it out for yourself. And if you don't own a copy of this, Hammerheart still have copies left in stock, so you can and should pick one up. Here are some snippets. That was it for today's video. Hopefully someone watching got a recommendation on new stuff to listen to. Next video will be more of the same but different, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye!